I'm Molly Goodwin, and welcome to the Renegade Rundown. I'm here to remind you that this Saturday we have our next home game at Harry Delarusso Stadium, 6 p.m. kickoff against the Pittsburgh Passion. You can get your tickets at our website, bostonrenegades.com, or at the gate on game day. If you can't be there in person, please join us right here on Revere TV. And please help me welcome my guests in studio today. I've got Leny Alfaro, number 83, is that right?
Yes.
Wide receiver and kicker. And we've got Whitney Zeke, number 33, defensive end. And that feels funny to me to say defensive end still, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Leny, I'd like to start with you first. My understanding is that you have a very extensive soccer background, but that Coach Jimmy Callahan hit you up and got you to play for the Renegades. So my question is, why American football? And would you be willing to tell us a little bit of your story of what it means to you to be a Renegade?
Yeah, so I was just with Jimmy at work one day, and he kind of just, he knew I played soccer, but he was wondering why I'd never played American football. And obviously it's because soccer is my sport. I'd heard of tackle football and women's sports, but I don't know, I just never gave much thought to it. But the way he talked about the team, and he just said, we have some tough players on the team. And that kind of just got my brain going a little bit, because for me at soccer, I like to think of myself as tough. I don't back down from a challenge. It's just one of those things where when I'm competing, and honestly, it can be anything. It can be soccer. It can be volleyball at the beach with my family, or just with my nephews.
Yeah.
I want to go for it. There's no losing for me, even with my 2-year-old nephew. So the way he talked about Renegades was just kind of lit that for me, and I'm like, okay, I really have to check this out. And then finally, when I got there, when I started meeting people, the players, especially the veterans, there was something that one of the players said that really made me see what it means to be there. It's not something that you just get, that's given to you, right? You have to earn it.
Absolutely.
One day in the huddle, Al said, "You're gonna be in pain." To everyone, she said, "You're gonna be in pain for several months." And that kind of just made me realize, oh my God, this is not just Sunday league, Yeah. This is not just, oh, I feel like going today, but maybe this Friday I'm not gonna show up to film. And just understanding and explaining that to my family, it's like, I'm committed, I can't just show up one day because I felt like it and not the next one. So just showing that to people and to my friends and family and say, hey, look at what these girls are doing. I want to do something like that. I want to be part of something this big. And it's just, it means so much to me to know that I get to be a part of it, because we're putting in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's how I ended up here.
That's great. In your family, your crowd ran pretty deep on that first home game. It's fun. One of the things that's nice about having new people, rookies on the team, is getting to meet everybody's families. And tell me, did your family enjoy it, or what did they think when they came to the game?
Oh, my sister's always been the girly in the family. She was just besides herself when she saw some women do Darcy, when she picked up one of the girls on the other team and just kind of threw her on the side. She's like, I just can't believe that girls do that. And I'm like, yeah, well, of course they do. Of course we do.
Yeah.
And the boys, my nephews, they were just, so excited to see the players. And they were asking me to autograph their footballs. I'm like, guys, I basically live with you. But they're in the hype, and they're children, and they hear professional women's sports. And they were very excited, but they were also very nervous to just see me go out there for the first time, because I tell them about it. And I say being a rookie means that you wait for your chance, right? Yeah. You work and you work until someone calls you and says, okay, you can play now. So when they did see me go out there, they were really excited. And I'm just lucky that they were able to see that on the first game.
Yeah, that's great. And Whit, you've been in football for a long time. You started in 2011, and you played till 2017 as a running back for the Boston Militia and then the Boston Renegades. Most people consider you the best running back to ever play in the game. And I know that, you're so humble that you don't ever want to admit that. But it's been 5 years now since you've played, and you decided to come back. So first, let me say welcome.
Thank you.
We love having you back, and we're really thrilled to have you. Talk to me about how you made that decision, and then what you've done mentally and physically to prepare yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it had been a tough 5 years without football. I was still very much around the team, around the Renegades, going to every single game. So, despite not being on the field, I was always there, and that almost made it harder at times. I've certainly dealt with injuries in my playing career, and therefore I've been on the sidelines with the team and still very much felt a part of the team. So to be up in the stands so far away, feeling somewhat removed, it was very challenging and very hard. So in this past off season, really, I spoke with a lot of players and spoke with former players who came back and just really tried to get a sense for if I would get satisfaction, closure coming back the second time around, dealing with sort of challenges and doubts about will I be the player I once was, and presumably no, it's been 5 years, but how will I deal with that, mentally and emotionally? So I had a lot of hard conversations with myself and with teammates, and everyone sort of posed the question to me, do you think you'll have more regrets coming back?
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and I know life without football now, it's not that enjoyable. So I can't
second
say,
that.
yeah, exactly, I can't say that I've, in the few months that I've been playing again, I have any regrets at all about coming back. But it did take a lot of sort of mental preparation, and even going into the games, I questioned myself, like, did I pack everything? Like, how do I do this? It's been 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So I did a lot of sort of visualization, like sitting in my room playing Whitney Houston's national anthem and just putting myself in that moment on the sidelines, because I knew I'd be sort of an emotional mess coming back. So a lot of visualization, and of course, physically, getting back in the gym, working out and training like a football player again. All of those components have helped me sort of remain composed on the football field, although my teammates will tell you I cry a lot, just emotionally overwhelmed, and so grateful to have this opportunity to play again. It truly is a gift and something we get to do, a privilege, really.
Yeah. You're no longer running the ball. You're starting, but let me actually, I want to say a few stats if I can, just so people understand. Like I said, you started in 2011. You really had your breakout year in 2013. It was a historic year in which you ran for 2,138 yards, or 267 yards a game over a game period. Through the championship, you ran for over 2,800 yards for the season, which 2,000 yards is a big deal. You were the league MVP. It was an incredible season for you, and then 2014 you get hurt. You missed most of the season, but you come back for the playoffs. And in a 4-game time span, you scored 20 touchdowns. And you run for over 1,000 yards in 4 games.
Making my cheeks hot.
I know. I mean, it's unbelievable what you've done in your career. And in total, you average 151 yards a game and 2.5 touchdowns for over 7,000 yards in your career. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen
by myself at all.
So I guess now that you're not running the ball and you're playing defense, talk to me, what's the expectation for you as a player and in your development?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much a rookie again. Like, I'm not carrying the balls. There's somewhat of a difference, but in my mind, it's like I'm learning from scratch, and I'm at the ground level. Like, there's so much to learn. Even dealing with coaching styles, where I played for Vern Crawford, our offensive coordinator, and now playing for Johnny, and their communication style is different.
Yeah.
Just learning that there's like two different defenses being run at the same time, the perimeter and the box. Like, I'm completely a rookie, and my expectations are to get through the year and then like learn, study, try to be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very different.
What would be your words of advice for Leny as she's getting started as a true rookie?
Yeah, I mean, you already seem like you're leaning into the veterans. On the offensive side of the ball, Allison's been playing for 20 years. So you have a wealth of knowledge over on that side. We're a little bit newer on defense, but I still, Brianna Gallo's been playing for, I think, 17 years, and she is the commander of defense. So I have some people I can lean on, but I would definitely encourage you to lean on those veterans, ask a lot of questions. I've already seen you doing that, and just take a lot of notes and watch football all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
College football, NFL, like become a student of the game and not a spectator. Watch with a different lens.
Yeah, because the thing, I think as a new person that you don't, and we don't get that much time together, we're not doing it 7 days a week, is, the nuances of the rules, let's say, and the nuances of situational football.
Right.
And that's something you can only get through experiential stuff. So I think that's great advice. Yeah. Have you found some of our veterans to be helpful?
Oh, absolutely.
Who are your go-tos?
Probably PB because she plays my position.
Yeah.
And V, the kicker that was an All-American 2 years ago.
Vanessa.
So when it comes to kicking, it's definitely V, like for sure. Ash on the O-line, she's been helping me with my pulling and the blocking. But just watching PB and just the ways in which she makes her runs and makes herself available, or I don't know if you see it at the game on Saturday, we're on the sidelines at one point, and she's just grabbing me from down under on the shoulder pads, telling me, like, this is what I want you to do to the other players. And just getting those details from people that have been doing this basically for decades, right?
Yeah.
Is huge.
Yeah, we're really lucky we have that good mix of veteran and rookie players, so that you guys can both. Rookies are infusing the energy and the excitement, and the veterans are infusing the knowledge, which is great. Leny, you also have the opportunity to be deeply involved with Coach Cliff Ashley, who was on the show last. He's quite a character, and he runs some fun special teams meetings, and he is very thorough in his preparation. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to work with Cliff and some of his meetings and what you're getting from him.
I don't think we have enough time.
Where to begin?
No, but he's great. I mean, he's very smart. That's the very first thing I'd probably have to start with. Very analytical when it comes to his presentations during the Monday night meetings. I think the very
you better
first
be awake for those, right?
Yeah, lots of coffee. I remember the very first PowerPoint that I saw was this chart of the Renegades kicking history and how successful the team has been in that aspect. And it's such a small part of, the scoreboard, right? But he makes sure that what it means, how important it is that one little chance that you have, you pull through, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's so easy to say, well, it's just 1 point, right? It's like, no, it's not just 1 point.
It could be the difference.
He will make sure that you understand the importance of that point, because everyone else is perfect around you. Why should you settle for less? Just because the other players are doing just fine. I think that's just like the biggest thing that I get out of Cliff. He does not underestimate special teams and the 1 point that I think about, right? Because it's like it's a PAT, it's 1 point compared to 6 points on a touchdown, but it's huge. It could be the reason the team makes it, to the championship.
Absolutely.
So that's always been stuck on the back of my head. The success in the past years and understanding that you have to be 100% no matter what the score is.
Yeah, I never had the pleasure to work with Cliff. Did you? Have you worked with
I
him?
am
You
now.
are now? Yeah.
Now I'm punt return. So, that's a new side of the ball for me too, special teams.
Yeah. What is the difference? Speaking of offense and defense, and I don't know enough about special teams to really talk about it in depth. except for the cliff part. But for you, what are the differences, do you think, between being on offense and being on defense?
Yeah, I mean, the one that stands out the most to me would be, I think a lot of the work on offense happens pre-snap, knowing, the play call and knowing what your routes are. For a running back, it's a little bit different. There's some sort of in-game and in-play adjustments you have to make. But for defense, I think you have to try to get a sense of the play pre-snap, but you're constantly reading and adjusting, reading and adjusting, reading and adjusting until that whistle is blown. So there's a lot more, I would say, a dynamic nature to defense. At the same time, with our offense, there's so much composure, control. It's so cerebral. Defense is a little more chaotic. I will say that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, but that certainly has its benefits. You can just kind of go wild a little bit in a sense.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you pound your chest before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's untapping a different side of me emotionally, I would say.
Yeah, I think and it's also a different energy level,
yes,
right?
Yes.
What's demanded of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you're doing that. Al said something interesting to me when we were talking about you as a player on defense now. She said, imagine Whit, her whole career, she's a running back, and she gets to sit 5 to 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage and view the whole field and have a survey before she gets the ball. Now you have your hand in the ground and you see maybe 3 feet around you.
Yeah,
and that how different it is just from the jump for you, how you line up,
yes,
and your ability to really assess things pre-snap versus just getting back to your alignment assignment. Those kinds of things, your keys. So
absolutely. I think even for me, as I watch film on our opponents, I'm observing the formations on offense, I'm observing emotion, but in a game, my head is down, I've got, my head cocked looking for the ball, and it's like I can't see the full picture, and that's definitely a challenge that I hope to build upon in future seasons too, just getting better at taking it all in, or taking as much of it in as possible.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say the difference is between your experiences as a soccer player and your experiences with the football team, whether as fans or as player or as a teammate, from any of those perspectives?
I'd say as a sport all around, the similarities would be the work that you put in, right? It's understanding that you have to be ready in different ways too, because like for soccer you have to prepare and run maybe 7 miles every day or whatever, do a lot of sprinting, have that sort of stamina. But at football, you're hitting the sled, you are lifting, you're working on more your agility to be ready for those quick runs off the lines that I really need to work on. But at the same time, it's like you're playing the sport at that high level that you need to be prepared physically. You just need to know how. On the other side, just like tactics-wise, I would say I couldn't really speak to soccer that much just because I've been playing it since I was 4.
Yeah.
And it almost feel like it came naturally to me. With football, learning it in my 30s, it's like, wow, there is so much I didn't know about football that goes into it. I'm ashamed to say that I underestimated the sport, right? I thought I'd just come in, go for a run, and catch the football because it's so much fun catching a football. But there's so much more. You have to read the play. That's something I'm just getting to do now. I'm 4 months in, as a rookie. But finding myself understanding how to read plays, how to read defense, and it's like cover 0 versus 1 versus 2 and 3. I'm like, what is that? Like I didn't know that existed in football. I've been watching football all my life as a fan. Now as a student, it's just all these tactics and making those quick decisions last minute because someone got in your way and making it work. It's you have to kind of improvise at times, similar to soccer. But there are things that you need to stick to, otherwise you blow up the whole play for the team.
Yeah. We're just coming off our second win of the season. We were in Detroit this past weekend. How how are you guys feeling about the team's performance so far, and talk about what expectations are going into this weekend?
I can start. I felt great for the past 2 games to finally be able to see the team come together and go 150%, because I don't think we get to do that at practice. And as a rookie, I've never seen it before, and it's somewhat difficult to not turn into a fan for a second, you know, a fan of your own teammates in a way, you know.
I like that.
There was something you said right before the first game that, you know, for some players don't expect to play every game, but just be there. And honestly, that just like, I can be there, you know, sitting on the bench and watching. I can be there for my teammates, rooting for them, and when I get the chance to go out there, I'll be that player that's expected of me. But honestly, just watching the way everything goes together.
Yeah. And you're 3 for 3 on your extra points this year. Yeah, you haven't missed an extra point. That's great.
No. But it's been a great experience, and I'm so excited to see what happens this weekend against Pittsburgh, who should be some good competition.
Yeah. They are also 2-0, and they are tied with us atop the National Conference. So this game is a big one in terms of just starting to establish the seeding. What are you expecting from them this weekend?
I mean, with Pittsburgh, you always have to expect some trickery, some misdirection.
First play of the game, right?
Yes, and then sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
But they're, for the most part, a smaller, quicker team, but definitely not to be underestimated. I think on defense, where we're filling a lot of gaps from veterans that have retired, I think it'll be a real test for us, just to see how disciplined we can be, how well prepared we are. I know we will be, but whether or not as players we can execute and just remain composed. I think, like Leny said, it will be a good challenge for us.
Yeah.
I think it will be a welcomed challenge for us.
Yes.
But I think we've just been slowly building, having different moments for different people on defense, and I think we're all going to be tested in ways this weekend. So I'm excited to see what we can do. Yeah,
and the weather's supposed to be nice. Hopefully we'll have a big crowd.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys would like to add before we wrap up?
I do just want to say, I don't know if Leny mentioned that you had intentions of just kicking when you joined the team.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, I did. I don't know. I was just more concerned about the contact and the head aspect of things.
Yeah.
But then after some serious consideration and just seeing the level of competition, I was like, oh my God, how can I not jump into that? You know, how can I not want to get killed, or how do I not want to go out there and kill someone? Not really, but
you're perfect.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it all worked out.
You're much more than a kicker.
I couldn't not jump out there and become part of the offense, because that's just too fun.
Yeah.
Making your life miserable. Yeah. Not me, but having teammates that do it for me.
We talk about you on the sideline.
Yeah.
Leny doesn't drop the ball.
We're thrilled to have you and your family, and having you part of our football family, and we're really happy to have you back.
I'm ecstatic to be back.
I appreciate you guys joining us today, and for those of you that can come, please come to our game Saturday night, kickoff at 6 p.m. Harry Della Russo Stadium will be playing the Pittsburgh Passion. And for more game information, go to our website at bostonrenegades.com. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.